Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Today is May the 26th and spring is moving right along. There are very few peonies left in the garden, and I don't think there are any iris blooms left. I'll need to come and clip all these off. I've clipped a few off, but not nearly all of them. I'll need to do that, but I've still actually been putting pots together, container gardens, and I wanted to show you a few the things that I've got done. This little beauty is no longer so beautiful. But oh my, I'll miss the peonies in the garden and the iris. That's one of my favorite times in the garden because they're just so big and beautiful. And I think I've already showed you this little container garden, and the larkspur is blooming in front of it now. And clematis are in bloom. I actually lost a couple of my clematis and a couple of my favorite clematis too, so I'll probably, as soon as I can, try to replace those. I don't know that it'll be this year, but it may be in the fall. Oh look, here's a couple of little peonies that are hanging on. Looking pretty this morning. And with this Sweet William that's actually still going strong too and looking good. It has a pretty long bloom time in the garden. That's another thing that's blooming when the peonies and iris are. And then right over here is where I worked yesterday, and I did go ahead and put together this little container garden. And what I decided to do is I'm going to leave it here. I'm not going to try to move it because for one reason there's just not room to put my little bistro set over here without being right on top of some plants. So you couldn't push your chair back or anything, so I just decided to leave. I actually moved it out more into my clearing, and then I left this one here. So I've got various little things in here, and I'm hoping it'll look good together. Basically what I did was just I went to Atwood's and got several plants, and I just got what I liked, and then I put it together to hope that it will come out looking good together too. There's a pretty hibiscus, and this one I got at Janie's, but it's a beautiful yellow with a pink center with a pink center, and then it's about as pink as this pretty little geranium, which I'm hoping will kind of bring all these little odds and ends together. This is a white calabachoa, the beautiful Joseph's coat, alternanthera, and then right on the other side there of it is, I can get over there where you can see it, is a pretty white lantana. So I'm hoping those will just really flow together and fill out the pot, and and look great together. And then below it I have a penta, which you know draws the butterflies and hummingbirds. A pretty little coleus. I thought this one's markings was just really pretty. And this little piece of a bat flower, doesn't it look just like a little bat coming at you there? If I can get it in focus good for you. Which is seemingly not wanting to do that. And then another alternanthera. This one is called Little Ruby. There's a pretty pink salvia, and there beside it is the bat flower that actually that other one fell off of, and I just put it in there. But this little bat flower has got its root, and hopefully the other one will build one. And the bottom I did have some Perennial Yarrow. This is the pastel yarrow that I love, and then I just added some little, I'm hoping they'll have enough shade for this pretty little impatiens to do well there. This little lily was my surprise yesterday morning. How pretty it is. Look how that center part of it blends with those Diana clematis. Looks so pretty together. That's what really brought it out to me. And then this morning there's one more joining it. So the lilies are beginning to take the place of the peony and iris blooms. And then here beside it is this little pot that I really like. This pot. My neighbor and longtime friend gave this to me after his wife passed away, and she was the one that, of course, did this. He said she was the one with the green thumb, and he didn't have one. So that this has got all kinds of little holes in the pot to put things in, so the whole thing just fills out. And I hope it will do well. So I just put a little variation of plants in there too. And I hope I'll be able to show that to you later, and it will be filled out and pretty. Right now it looks a little bit scraggly, but even now you can see it has some potential. What a beautiful morning it is this morning. So good to be out here in a pretty garden. I worked all day yesterday practically. Well, actually we did go to Atwood's yesterday morning, so it was more like all afternoon until dark that I worked yesterday. But I got a lot done, got everything kind of watered in, and I know we got rain all around us and we didn't get any. But there's another chance Thursday, so I'm hoping we'll get our rains on Thursday. I did get more of my hoses laid and the holes poked in them, so it helped me to water. And all I had to water was just the one place where I haven't got the hose yet, and just the pot, so that helped a lot. I did put some little things in this pot too, a little bit of salvia and a little bit of coreopsis. And look right beside it there. And I'll get over here where you can see it better too, but the lemon fluff. is beginning to open up. It will open until you can't see any more of the brown. It'll just be a... I'll have to fight this mosquito away. I should have put mosquito repellent on before I came out, but all the brown will be gone and it'll just be a big ball of that pretty fluffy yellow. Here's another little bloom that greeted me yesterday, and it's opened up a little bit more today. Looking great. This pretty clematis. And some of the pots are actually beginning to fill out. They're not as scraggly as they were when I first started them. The daylilies are beginning to open up their pretty colors. Summer will be all about the daylilies in my garden. I have several and they'll just be blooming off and on. And I wanted to show you this pretty rose. It actually changes color. I was surprised one day and I came out and this was so white and pink, and then I came out another time and it was this pretty two-toned pink. And it will do that just depending on if it's overcast or if we have a lot of sunshine, and just the variation in the temperatures can make it change its color. I see the oh gosh, I'm not thinking of the name of this. Well, anyway, these little ones are blooming. I'll try to think of it here in a little bit and tell you. These little clematis are still pretty and in bloom. The roses are blooming. They're short this year because of that late freeze that I had, or that we had. And since not much of my rose moss came back from seed like it usually does, I did get some rose moss and put in this little planter. I also found these little yellow pots that I've been looking for something small enough to fit in this, and these actually they only do because they're bendable. They kind of have to bend a bit to go in there, but I think they look good there. I also put this little tiered pot together with just little bits and pieces, so hopefully it will look good too before it's all over. And then here is where I put my bistro. It was just over here in this little part right here, and I moved it over into the center, which this little area here where I have it. I was holding on to my dream of getting an awning and having a smoker and grill here, and maybe a few other little things, but I'm still going to dream to do that. But for right now, this just works better sitting out here in the open. But of course there was nothing to put my chandelier on, so I actually put this little shepherd's hook here and put this chandelier over the top of it, which was over here, and then I switched out and put my little bird chandelier over on this side. These widow's tears are looking so good this morning, or the Trinity plant. This little girl's pot looks, well, it just doesn't look bright. It needs some color, but when this grows up, I think it's going to have its color. I'm hoping so. The pretty quill mum just keeps looking better and better. As does the clematis. It's filling out more and more and looking great on this little trellis, and it's here in the back too, and it's still filling out more and looking good. And behind it there, of course, is the larkspur in bloom. It doesn't seem like long ago I told you this would go up the trellis, and now you can barely see any of the trellis there. You can tell a little at the top, but it has filled totally out. Hopefully it will be a beautiful billow of white this fall. It's the fall clematis. So that pretty much updates you for what I've been doing and how the garden is coming along. Another little pot that's beginning to fill out a bit. Look at this sweet little trailing vinca or periwinkle that I put in this pot. Isn't that pretty? So I think I'll take you around front for just a minute too. There's one pot I finished up last night, but most of the pots around front have been done for or finished for a little while, and some of them are starting to fill out a bit. So when all the pretty peonies and iris are gone and there's a few roses and a few daylilies, there'll also be the pretty pots filling out and getting your attention in the garden. And I'm just realizing that I was right out here at this little pot and did not mention the clematis growing up that trellis, which is also looking great. The butterfly weed has really filled out. It's looking good. Even my little tomato, which I'm as bad with tomatoes as I am houseplants, but it's filled out its little pot quite a bit. And this little strawberry pot with the white impatiens. I don't think it was a mistake to put white in there. I thought, because I love color so much, but this just looks really good to me. And I had told you that a bunch of my impatiens died here, and I'm sure it was due to snails. You can see this little pot. I haven't redone it yet, and I'll need to put something else in there at some point. But this one I did redo. I hope they'll live. I hope those snails will leave them alone, and I'll keep enough diatomaceous earth on there to keep them away from it. But I just put some more impatiens in here, and this beautiful begonia, which doesn't look like much now, but if it does like they did for me last year, it will flow over the edge of that and just look really pretty. Also, the little girl that was sitting right here that I told you is one of my favorites. It's just, I did redo her, and I'm afraid to put it back here. I'm afraid the snails will get it before it even gets a chance to get started good. I can't believe they haven't destroyed this little pot. I hope they don't. I probably wouldn't be able to find this color again, but isn't that a beauty, that pretty peach? And this is the little container garden that I did, and I hope this is not up so high that it won't be able to be shown that much, because it's such a pretty little impatient. And then let's see, what did I put? I put another one of these beautiful begonias in there, and then a coleus right in the center. So hopefully it'll grow up and come over the edges of the pot and look good. And then this little one is filling out. Look at all those pretty blooms. And then here's my other little one that I redid. Hopefully it'll get back in the garden soon, or back in its spot soon. But I don't want to rush it. I do not want those snails and roly-polies to take it out again. It's also got white in there, and I'm not seeing any of those in bloom right now, but I think the white and orange will look good together. So that is basically all that I've done differently here in the front, other than they are filling out more and looking better, which is great. And I even noticed that the back of the pot, let me get where I can show it to you, but the back of the pot's filling out nicely too. So that would be great if these just continue to do well. My coleus last year did not do that well in this little pot, but they normally do. I don't know really what stunted them last year, but they just never did go ahead and come up over her little wings. And I think these, hopefully these will. Back over here so I can show you the back side of this little pot too. So there you have it, and my husband has just about got this tree gone out of the garden, so soon I'll be planting my other tree there, hopefully. And these little plants are beginning to grow up. Look at this. I don't know if you can remember how scraggly it was when I put it in there, but it's looking great. Of course, some are still looking scraggly, like this little one that the snails have been after. Look at this one though, how pretty it filled out. I never thought about it looking that good when I put it in there. Although I know that a Dusty Miller will always bring out the color in anything, but doesn't it look great? Here's a few more impatiens that the snails haven't destroyed yet, thankfully. You can tell they were trying. I've got diatomaceous earth in there trying to ward them off, which maybe it helped since they're not all together gone yet. I love the impatiens for color, for the shade. They just keep going and going if I can just keep the roly-polies and snails away from them. Oh, look, even my little strawberry pot is beginning to fill out. Of course, it has a ways to go. This one actually got smaller before I think it's beginning to get bigger though, or get healthy enough that it can get bigger. Those were little ones I took out of the window that I kept in the window all winter long. So, but that's great that they're coming back. And if they get a good hold and start growing, they will just really look good there. Because they do just keep going and going and getting bigger and prettier. I put some tiny little starts of Purple Heart in this with this orange coleus, and the orange coleus is beginning to fill out, and I think these will all fill out soon and just make that one look lovely, as well as the one above it with the orange lantana. I think it's called red, but it looks orange to me, and I think it'll go great with this Purple Heart Wandering Jew too. Yes, it has a ways to go, but it may not take it long to get there. Oh, and I'm going to have to backtrack on something I told you. I was so excited about, I planted all different kinds of poppies in here, and I was so excited about all these poppies coming up. And I knew these were a different kind of poppy, and actually I think these are the only poppies that are in here. These others are Bells of Ireland, which I love too, but it's just, I'm so surprised there's that many of them. Last year they were just a little cluster at the end of the seed box, and this year they are just going everywhere in the seed box. So, and I got my dirt ready for this one. I have not yet planted there, but I will plant some seeds there before too long. And why are these looking like this? I don't know. That looks terrible. This is how they should be looking, like these right here. I'm not sure what to do for them, but I know they need something or they're going to die, and they may be snails on those too. If I can tell if there's anything at the bottom of them. And it looks like there may be some roly-polies down there. Yeah, there's your one right there. And I'll go get some diatomaceous earth. At least I know what to do for those. So I'll cover those up, and hopefully it'll take care of that. Thank you for coming on the Garden Scrolls with me. I so enjoy it, and I hope you are enjoying it too. And if you are, please click like and subscribe to the channel.